everyone, it's Mackenzie with Real Living, and today's episode is an episode on marriage, and this one in particular is a brand new topic to me, and I'm going to tell you why. So I'm going to start with a little story. So this was probably like the week before St. Patrick's Day of this year, so not too long ago, and we went to a friend's house. Tyler and Charlie and I did, and we went there for dinner, and everybody brought drinks and beer, and Tyler fell in love with this new beer that he has never had before. So I texted my girlfriend. I said, hey, what was that beer Tyler really loved? Can you ask your boyfriend? Whatever. She told me the name of the beer, and I was driving home from work on a Friday the following week, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop and get Tyler that beer. I know he loved it. It'll be a nice little gesture, and you could only get it at a specific place. You couldn't get it just anywhere. So I had to drive to a very specific store to get it. I do that. I come home. He had just relieved the babysitter from Charlie, relieved Charlie from the babysitter. And I walk in, and he's got her in his arms, and I was like, hey, look what I brought home. And I just put it on this little bench that we have underneath the window. He didn't even notice. And I was so excited because I thought that he would be, excited because he loved the beer so much, and it's Friday after work. I thought maybe he'd have one on the porch. It was nice outside. And he didn't even bat an eye. And that was so devastating to me because I was so excited about gifting him this nice thing and letting him know that I was thinking of him and whatever. So a couple hours went by, and I was really ticked off. I was like, what the heck? I went out of my way to do this for you. So finally I said something. I was like, just so you know, I did go out of my way to buy you this beer, and it doesn't even seem like you care. And in that moment, he was like, oh no, Kenz, I do care. Thank you very much. And that was it. But I still wanted this big reaction, big production. And it was in that moment that Tyler actually brought something to my attention. He said, have you ever heard of the 5 love languages? And I was kind of taken back. I was like, what, why do you know that? And no, actually, I've never heard of it. And he was like, oh, well, I heard it on this podcast, and I want to tell you about them. So we're sitting there, Charlie's already in bed, and he makes me take this 20-minute quiz on what love language I resonate with the most. And he had already taken it, and he didn't tell me what his love language was because I still didn't know what it was. So I go through this whole quiz, and I find out that my love language is acts of service, and his is something completely different, which I'll tell you about. So with that in mind, when I found out what his was, it made a lot more sense as to why he didn't react the way that I thought he would react. I was thinking he would react the way I would. So it's really important to know what your partner's love language is. And I'm going to tell you what they are and how you can determine it. So the 5, they're super simple. I made notes just so I don't forget them. The first one is words of affirmation, which I actually thought that was going to be mine, and it's not. Because I like to receive compliments, like a lot of people probably do, but that's not how I receive love, but I thought it was, okay? The second are gifts, someone gifting you a gift, like I did Tyler with beer. The third one is acts of service, which is mine. And truly, it means so much to me when I have this whole to-do list of stuff like laundry and cleaning and doing inventory for LuLaRoe and creating my content for my vlogs and trying to empty the dishwasher and take care of the dog and make Charlie's bottles and all the stuff that I have going on. When Tyler takes one of those things off of my plate, that means so much more to me than the others that I've listed above and the 2 more that I'm going to tell you right now. So that's mine, is acts of service. The 4th one is quality time, which sounds really nice, but a lot of people receive love by just spending time with their partner. And the 5th one is physical touch, which, surprise, surprise, is Tyler's. So, and we kind of giggled when we were talking about how I was going to tell you guys this. He's like, everyone's going to think that you're just talking about, sex. And I think that's what everybody thinks of when you think of physical touch, but there is so much more to it than that. So, for instance, he receives love when we're out in public or we're on a walk and I just go and hold his hand without him having to grab my hand. Or if I just give him a giant hug when I come home instead of rushing around and doing whatever it is that's on my to-do list. If I take the time to stop, put my purse and my laptop back down and, go give him a hug, that's how he receives love. And he knows that I love him because I'm doing that physical act of hugging him. Or like if we're at a movie and I just wrap my arms around him like while we're waiting in the concession line, that's another way of physical touch that lets him know like, oh, she's thinking of me. She's not annoyed with me or doesn't want to be seen with me or whatever, you know? So I don't know. I think a lot of men probably do receive love in that physical touch way, but they could also, you know, have a ton of different types of love languages like the other 4 I've mentioned. So in my opinion, it's super duper important to learn, number 1, what your love language is, and number 2, what your partner's love language is. That way, you know that you're not setting yourself up for failure when you try to do something nice. And yeah, they might appreciate it, but they're not going to express their gratitude in a way that maybe you hope for, like I did with the whole beer story. And that's such a simple, silly little story, but it was the perfect way for me to describe to you an example of where I was a little bit wrong in thinking of what he appreciates and how he receives love. So I was shocked and also very thankful that he brought that to my attention in a really kind way to be like, hey, Ken's like, yeah, I really like that, but take this quiz. Okay, so I want you guys to be able to figure out what your love language is. So instead of doing the 19 question quiz that I did, I actually did some research and I took another one today and got the exact same answer, but it's only like 9 questions and it took me less than a minute to answer all of them. So I provided the link for you in the description of this video, and it's called The Mindful Company, and they have a lot of different things that help with relationships and personal growth and things like that. So if you guys want to peruse the website, please go for it. I have no affiliation. It was a simple, easy quiz for you guys to get kind of the gist of what love language means. So that's something that I think is super important because it's going to eliminate a lot of guessing games and conflict and hurt feelings. So I think it's very productive to learn what yours and your partner's love language is. So with that being said, when you take the quiz, I want to know what your love language is. Okay, and also your partners if you get to figure that out. So come back to this video as soon as you take it and comment here with what your love language is, just so we can see how many people have things in common, or if you're, you know, different than I am, I want to know what that is. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it and I hope you have a great week. Bye.